Trident Case Electra Series charging cart service and repair video. Let's get started. If you have a particular issue and want to jump ahead to it, here's how the video is broken up: boxing and unboxing, electrical, and the UV light and dividers. Find your way to that specified time range to see details on these topics. When you receive your charging cart, it will appear as shown, in this sturdy packing crate with specially designed packing straps. Use a pair of scissors to cut away the packing straps. To avoid potential injuries to your hand, we recommend using a pair of gloves in this process as well, as the packing straps are wrapped very tightly around the container. Once you've cut away both straps, pull them out from underneath the rest of the package. With the help of a second person, slowly lift from the top of the box, revealing the inside of the package. Once the box is removed, remove any further padding away from the charging cart itself. Once again, with the help of a second person, lift from the handles at the top of the charging cart away from the box's base. Reverse this process if you need to ship the cart to a different location or if sending it back for repairs. If you notify Trident Case that you cannot find the original packaging, we will ship you out a new one with all safety packaging included. The first safety layer is the plastic bag that protects from scratches, dust, and debris. Next is the packing foam. Make sure all 4 panels surround the charging cart and that it fits snugly on top. As added protection, we will also ship you 2 long sheets of bubble wrap. Place these over the packing foam and tuck them between the charging cart and the box's base. Grab your second person again and slowly lower the upper section of the box into place. It'll be quite a snug fit, so make sure you flatten out any bunching bubble wrap to make the process go smoother. The upper section of the box will fit nicely into the base. Standard packing tape is required for sealing the box for secure shipment. The first strip of tape should connect the base to the upper section, with half of the strip being on one and half on the other. The second strip should overlap the top half of the first strip and secure the connection to the upper section of the box. The third strip will overlap the bottom half of the first strip and secure the connection to the base of the box. A fourth and final strip will overlap all 3 previous strips to make sure everything stays in place. This strip should be in the same location as the first, but overlapping the second and third. Give the tape a quick pat down to secure the hold, and you're ready to ship. Now for the electrical. The first and most important step is to disconnect it from its power source. Next, use the included key to open the access door to the timer and control systems. You'll find 2 screws holding the inner door in place. Remove these with a Phillips screwdriver and put them aside somewhere you can find them easily. You'll need them to reclose the door. For access to the electrical components of the power supply and timer switch, pull from the cutout hole in the door. The first step to disconnecting the timer switch is to remove this cover from the connection ports. Using your Phillips screwdriver, remove the 1 screw holding the cover in place. Now we loosen the clamps on the connecting wires. We recommend you label each wire with colored tape or even post-it notes as we've done here to ensure each cable can be reconnected in its proper place. Now that the timer switch is disconnected from the electrical components of the charging cart, let's remove its screws that mount it to the inner wall. You'll find one at the top here, one at the bottom right here, and one at the bottom left right here. If the timer switch is what was acting up or is what had stopped working, simply swap it out with a replacement. For further access to electrical components of the power supply, remove the inner door like so. Remove these protective covers from the wiring to see which wires need to be unplugged and where each one goes. For access to the reverse side of the inner wall, we'll need to remove the bolts holding it in place. Here, here, and here. Depending on the model of charging cart you own, there may be a fourth bolt between the middle and lower power supply blocks, here. Using an 8mm socket wrench or a similar tool, remove the bolts in the designated areas that hold the inner wall in place. This one in the top left also holds the grounding wire for the power supply control, which we'll be removing next. The power supply control has 4 screws securing it and its connecting wires in place. Loosen these screws with your Phillips screwdriver, and then remove the wires. We'll push up and then out to remove the power supply control from its mounting bracket. Further removal of protective wiring covers may be required to gain access to the reverse side of the inner wall. Carefully displace any wires you see that are hindering the swivel process of the inner wall. Once rotated around, you'll see all the mounting screws for each of the 3 individual power supplies. If the power supply block is what needs to be replaced, remove the 4 corresponding screws to that particular power supply. Before removing any of the electrical wires to the power supply, we again recommend labeling each wire to ensure proper reconnection. Use your screwdriver to loosen each clamp that holds the wires in place. Just a few turns for each clamp should do the trick. Now, simply remove the old power supply and replace it with a new one by reconnecting the corresponding wires and tightening the clamp screws. Be careful not to over-tighten them to avoid damage to any of the connection areas. Make sure to note where each wire needs to be reconnected. As you can see, the 3rd connection port from the bottom is left intentionally empty on this particular power supply. Now that we've replaced the power supply block, we can reattach it to the inner wall. Once that's resecured, we can also begin the process of reattaching the power supply control. Reconnect the wires at the bottom of the module, and also at the top. Once the cables are secured and connected, we can snap the module back into its bracket. If the problem with your charging cart stems from the USB port panels, there are 2 screws located here and here that allow for it to be easily removed and replaced. Follow the corresponding wires for that particular panel to its power supply and disconnect them. Note that not all cables on that power supply need to be removed, only the ones leading to the USB panel. However, if you're not sure which ones to remove, there's no harm in disconnecting each one. Once detached, carefully pull the USB panel away from the charging cart. There are 2 brackets holding the UV light in place. To replace the light, simply pull it away from the brackets and disconnect it from its power cord. To replace any damaged dividers, remove the single screw beneath the specified divider and pull it up from the sliding panel. Pop the new one back into place, then retighten the screw. This has been a servicing and repair video for the Electra Series charging cart by Trident Case. Thanks for watching.